The declaration or definition of a variable comes down to storage and visibility. Where is it stored, and who can see its name and thus access its value? Variables declared within a function are the best kind. They are private to that function, so no other code has direct access to them. You can have variables with the same name in different functions and they will be completely distinct. These variables are sometimes called automatic variables because they come into being when the function is called and automatically disappear when the function returns. This also means that these variables must be initialized or assigned some value every time the function is called. They do not maintain their value. For the sake of efficiency, these variables aren't even given an initial value unless you yourself initialize them. The alternative is what is known as an external variable because it is external to any function. You might call these global variables if you come from a C++ background. Such a variable may be declared and defined separately. You may have its declaration in one source file, called a header file, that different source files can hash include in order to use the variable, and have its definition in exactly one source file to set aside the memory to contain its value. I tend to avoid doing this, however, as it can get quite messy as the different parts of your program become so tightly coupled through a series of shared or global variables. A variant of this is called a static variable, and they are very useful. A static variable is privately declared and defined for the exclusive use of the functions in a particular source file. It's basically a sweet spot between automatic, as in local function variables, and global or external variables. You might have a set of related functions that need to share some state, but that should not be directly shared with any other part of your program. That's what static variables are for. Another use of static is for local variables internally declared within a function. Unlike automatic variables that I mentioned before, the storage for internal static variables are retained across calls to a function, and their initialization happens the first time the function is called.